We should have worn all of these things. What were we?
One
not had this
outfit.
while enough?
2024 trends and hot takes. Are you ready, Connor?
I'm ready. My whole damn life I've been ready.
So every year, Pinterest releases its predictions for trends based on users and what they're looking up through metadata.
It's big data. They got a whole big pile of it, and they're looking and seeing what we're doing. And they're like, okay, so if people keep doing this, this is going to be what the trends are 2024.
Yeah, so it's going to be like potential trends in the home, fashion, photography. That's usually what Pinterest is known for. And it's a really interesting list of trends. So let's go through it.
Let's do it. First trend here is the home. It looks like there is a style that'll be trending called Western Gothic.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Meet Western Goth, your soon-to-be decor obsession that'll mix vintage Americana chic with deep, moody hues. So trending search volume, Western bedding ideas are up 310%.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I had this feeling that Western was coming back, and I don't know if it was because I was in the car with my wife and she was listening to the newest Ali and AJ album. The Ali and AJ cover, it has them both in like Western garb. I'm like, y'all are from like straight up LA.
Interesting.
Vest with frills. It's all coming back.
What's interesting is I actually just watched a video, I think it was on TikTok, about someone saying the one style trend that has not changed since the 70s, 80s, 90s, into the 2000s is Western. If you look at a picture of someone in Western style clothing from the 80s, 90s, it's gonna look very similar to today. So that's really interesting.
It's Cowboys timeless.
It is.
Yeah.
It is totally timeless. So the next home trend this year is the kitschy kitchens. So this is, they say the party always moves to the kitchen, but sometimes the party is the kitchen. So this year, Gen X and Boomers will quirk up their cooking areas with thrifted finds, vintage appliances, and eye-jarring pops of paint. No minimalist aesthetic is safe.
Oh.
Well, there goes my kitchen.
So do we just get like take dumps of paint on stuff?
Apparently, has anyone tried painting their cabinets? It's hard.
It is hard.
It's not an easy thing.
Yeah, but if it's gonna be an eye-jarring pops of paint, like forget the masking tape. Just like
You're right.
fuck it on there. Who cares?
I vote bright pink, Barbie pink.
And yeah, it's good. Barbie pink's good. What's interesting to think about is how does this actually translate into like, because home decor is a visual aesthetic choice, right? And,
Right.
If people are trying to create content that has that cozy home kind of feel, these kind of like loud maximalists, lots of color styles, oftentimes interfere with a lot of marketing best practices,
Right.
which is like as few colors as possible, be very intentional about where you like draw attention.
Right.
I think the tip I'd give for anyone that's trying to do this maximalist kitschy kitchen content is make sure that you can bring that color, but make sure you're also maintaining focus of your subject. So like if it's you, make it you. Don't like put yourself in front of the kaleidoscope of colors behind you and not think about visual weight or making sure you're more in focus than that is, because you can unintentionally, I think, make your content feel way too loud if you're not framing your shots right and doing all the right content stuff.
Yeah. I think something that people also need to be aware of when you're decorating your home is your safe place. It's the place that you should feel the most comfortable, the most relaxed. And in my own personal life, I don't feel relaxed in a place that is so busy and lots of color and lots of stuff going on. So my home may not be the place that I implement this type of trends, but I might implement it in other aspects of my life. And I think that is what too many people don't focus on, is they want to be up to date on every single trend in life, in every aspect of their life. And is that actually making you happy? So
yeah, maybe not, but maybe some people want their house to feel like they're on an acid trip, and this will fit perfectly.
It will fit perfectly. Have at it, my friend.
All right, fashion. Let's talk fashion. This one's hilarious. Eclectic grandpa. Think retro, streetwear, chic cardigans, customized clothing, because the coastal grandma aesthetic is so last year. I love the coastal grandma aesthetic. Eclectic grandpa. It's so funny. Like you look at the picture they have on there, it's like this guy that has this like handkerchief tied around his neck and he's got a sweater with a jacket like draped over it. It's a vibe. I don't think I could do the neck scarf, but at the same time, maybe this next video I'll have a neck scarf. I don't know.
I could totally see you embodying the
eclectic
grandpa. It says that some of like the trending search terms are customized denim jacket, eclectic clothing style, grandpa core, retro streetwear, and grandpa style. Gonna be the new grandpa as a young 20-something, 30-something year old.
Now I feel so old. Okay. If eclectic grandpa is trending, and that means customized jean jacket, custom how? What am I
Pins?
Pins?
Roaches?
Brooches. Yeah. Oh my gosh, a brooch. I'm trying to think about what pins I would put on there. Like, if it's eclectic grandpa, does that mean like Vietnam pin or like protest the war pin? Like,
Well, on the image they put, they did this hand sign. I don't know what this means.
okay.
And it looks like there's like a flag, maybe like a college flag or something. So maybe they're like throwing it back to their early years. I don't know.
Go State. Okay. All right. That's it. Yeah. So eclectic grandpa. Nice.
So the next fashion trend is Y2K. So people will trade their trusty neutrals for something a bit hardcore this year. Metallic and blue glam are on the rise.
Okay.
So we are throwing it back. Man, this is just making me feel old because like Y2K, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that we were doing this style of clothing.
Yeah. I'm just proud that Hot Topic finally got back into the trend again. Like, I'm excited for the stud belt. I need a stud belt.
Yes.
Metallic studs. That's hardcore. Okay, vacations, tropical getaway or roughing it. Those are the trending travel. Tropical getaway. I think that's just because it's the end of the year. Like, everyone's thinking about getting out of the cold. Like, winter tropical getaway's not a trend. That's a trend I'll take every year.
When I was reading through, it was a little bit interesting though, because it says boomers and Gen Z are driving this escapist aesthetic, complete with hibiscus prints, tasty mocktails, and hot pink. I think it's interesting that it said escapist aesthetic. They're trying to escape this world that we're in right now, apparently.
Yeah, like the boomers are like, I'm ready to leave, and the Gen Z was like, I was never ready to come here in the first place. They just haven't accepted it yet.
It's true. It's true. The next one though is so roughing it. Whether you're flirt with dirt or you're down to get dusty off-roading can be an aesthetic or a lifestyle. Well, men, we are selling our Jeep, so apparently we need to not do that and stay in with the trends of roughing it and going off-roading.
That's out of trend. You are no longer trendy. Wait, is roughing it also an aesthetic thing? Is that what Pinterest is saying?
It's saying that it's the travel. So it's saying that boomers and Gen X will load up their 4x4s and make for the mountains, or at least look like they are. Whether you flirt with dirt or you're down to get dusty, off-roading can be aesthetic or lifestyle. Time to gear up and add some gravel to your travel.
Okay, I just think that the Seattle tech scene already did this. Like, Patagonia was already a thing. Is Patagonia back now? Like,
it must be.
Columbia wear. I mean, it makes sense with the cowboy aesthetic too.
True. It fits.
You know, bucket hat.
Yep.
Columbia sweater, and then I don't know, like eclectic grandpa bell bottoms with some frills. Like, is that where we're at? And then like a bright pink shoe.
Because that totally fits going and getting dirty in the mountains. 100%.
Okay, all right. I'm here for it. I'm ready for our next video. We should have dressed up for this. We should have worn all of these things. What were we?
One outfit.
Cafe core or jazz revival. Okay, so aesthetic. So what is the trending aesthetic? Cafe core. I'm so about this. So cafe core, bringing the coffee shop vibe home. People are searching for everything from cafe chalkboard aesthetic and coffee station decor to coffee bar styling. So bar carts are out, espresso machines in. I'm so here. I love going to cafes. Just being in a cafe, headphones on. Like, I feel like the lo-fi girl. Like, my life is aesthetically perfect and there's just chill beats happening.
The cozy vibe.
Bring it home.
Yeah. Yep. I love it.
It feels aromatic too. There's just all these aromas and scents.
I just don't feel like this is super new. I don't feel like it's something that we haven't kind of already been doing, but maybe it's just going to be much more of a trend.
Yeah, maybe like we just know all the trendy people.
True.
But because chalkboard aesthetic, I feel like that's been around for a while.
But I also feel like maybe it's coming back from 2010s.
Oh my God. Is it that 2010 feels so yesterday?
Yes.
Yes, it feels like it's been a thing. I feel like my dad right now, like, oh man, we were doing that forever ago in the 80s. Jeez.
Well, the next aesthetic is jazz revival. So it's jazz-inspired outfits, dimly lit venues, and lo-fi looks are all on the rise. Everything old really is new again.
To me, this feels like double-breasted suit jacket. Just like really wide lapels, like 6 layers of buttons.
Well, if we're going that route, we might as well start going back to like the 1912s, 1910s, wearing dresses all the time.
Yeah, or like those like the white puffy shirts, like the frills in the front. I'm, again, here for that. It's funny because like button-up shirts have only been around for like 100 years.
It's true.
Like, they don't have to be here for the next 100. We can do something else.
Yep. Everything old comes back though, in its own
I hope so.
style.
I hope so. Like more robes.
More robes.
Yeah. Like peasants were wearing button-up shirts in like the 1400s. It was like sackcloths. Bring back the sackcloth.
I would rather not be wearing such a tight corset that I can't breathe and a million petticoats and I can't show my ankles because men are going to freak out over my ankles. I'm good, thanks.
Edit out her ankles. We don't need to see that. I want to see the jazz revival. Okay, so like I'm scrolling here. I'm like looking at the pinch. Oh, I was so right. Wide lapels.
Yep.
Double-breasted suit jacket. I like this couch.
I do too.
That's nice.
It is a nice couch.
I'm here for the jazz revival. That's nice.
Piano jazz looks like I need to start playing the piano again. Is that back in trend?
Yeah. The piano's always trendy. What do we got next on this list?
I think we went through most of them. It's just interesting, like, what of these different trends pieced together. Eclectic grandpa and jazz revival, super, like, retro, relaxed. Whereas, like, kitschy kitchens and Y2K are really fun, colorful, giving lots of energy. So it's going to be interesting to see how these trends pair together over time, what actually becomes a trend, and what is, like, Pinterest is just off the mark on. But I read a stat that it was, like, 8 or 9 out of 10 trends that in the past few years that Pinterest has said was going to be a trend came true. So,
I mean, they got a lot of data.
They do.
It's that big pool of metadata.
Yeah.
I think that like the takeaway from this stuff to me, like the broad theme of all this is it's kind of this whole minimalism versus maximalism thing.
Right.
I mean, we go into like the 2010s with this whole new wave of tech, this whole new design aesthetic that's like, it's flat, it's clean, it's simple, it's accessible. And I feel like fashion is cycles and it's reactive to previous styles and trends. And I think that all of this stuff is like reaching back into history and pulling out these loud, colorful, expressive kind of styles and trying to make them fit into the modern look and feel that's sleek and fast paced. And I think that when you're thinking about creative content or content that's going to stand out, you've got to figure out how do you take those trends that are happening and apply it into your content, right? And one of the things that I think people get a little bit mixed up on is they like focus too much on like the micro trend. They'll be like, okay, now I've got to use jazz music in all my content because like jazz is the thing. And I think you've got to go back, you got to step up a level and be like, what's the broader like kind of parallels I can draw from these trend changes and then figure out how does that apply to your content? Because if everything's saying be more maximalist and be louder, more colorful, more expressive, then you should probably look at your content and be like, am I too flat? Is it too plain? Should I be more maximalist in my presentation? If I've been avoiding color, should I embrace color? If I've been avoiding shooting in certain areas, like I only want to use like a really fat, simple green backdrop, maybe that needs to be more louder and more colorful. Maybe I need a big old colorful mural or something. And you're only going to know what that is for your content. And so I think for me, the way I'm looking at this is what's the principle that I should be pulling away? What's the trend across all these trends? And how can I apply that in my own content?
I would agree. And also researching your audience and what your audience seems to be vibing with or going with, and not trying to adopt every single trend that Pinterest is saying, hey, here's this, this, and this. That is going to be overwhelming, and that is where I think people shut down, is when they're trying to adopt every single trend. Content creation can be difficult as it is. You don't need to add more difficulty to that. So maybe pick 1 or 2 trends that you vibe with, but also that you feel like your audience does as well, and start adopting that and adding it in. But don't feel like you have to take on everything. Your core message is still the most important part of your video or any social media content you're creating.
That was fun. That was very fun. Look, if you're trying to keep up with trends, if you're feeling behind, we have the trend report. We send this out weekly. It's going through latest content changes with the algorithm on the platforms, trends that we're seeing, sounds that are trending. So if you're trying to keep up with all these trends and you're feeling a little overwhelmed, not sure how to apply it for your content, check out the link in the description. You can sign up for the Storyy trend report and we have some great resources for you there. Anything else we need to tell these folks before we dip?
Just if you want to follow along more with what we talked about with Pinterest, it's Pinterest Predicts 2024. You can Google it. We'll also link it in the description so you can go check it out for yourself. But stay creating, friends.